Hello there. Good morning from Karimabad Hunza. It's 24th of October and this is the view from the balcony of my hotel room. Right in front of me is the Ran Peak. A little further on the left should be Golden Peak, but it's all cloudy this time of the morning. And on the right side, it's Rakaposhi, but it's completely invisible this time. It's quite cloudy today. It's the main market in Karimabad. It's pretty quiet and peaceful at this hour of the morning. Autumnal colors are gradually taking over the valley. This is the uphill street that leads to Baltit Fort, which we are visiting today. There are a number of guest houses, hotels, restaurants, cafes, coffee shops, juice corners. There are also these shops offering a variety of options to choose from in terms of clothing, caps, shawls, and souvenirs. And here is a dry fruit shop displaying some of the fruits right outside. A few caps and traditional bags to buy as souvenir. It's breakfast time. Here we have an omelette, a paratha, and walnut tea, and this vista to cherish at Lal Shehzadi's food pavilion. ये आ गया सामने फोर्ट आ गया. This here seems to be an outpost of the fort, sitting right over the passage. As this is an uphill street, so there is a little huffing and puffing going on for everyone. This is the stone foundation upon which sits the Baltit Fort. As per carbon dating done in 1990, it's at least 800 years old. It is related that when a Balti princess was married into the royal family of Hunza state, this fort was built for her in dowry. It's reflective of Balti art, hence the name Baltit Fort. And now Baltistan region had close ties in trade relations with Ladakh and Tibet in the past. So in consequence, it bears some semblance with Ladakhi and Tibetan architecture as well through Balti art. The royal family took residence in the palace down in the valley in 1945 and thereafter it remained vacant for almost 45 years. Later in 1990, it was restored in 6 years' time and donated to the public trust by the royal family. 80% of the restoration cost was bore by Honorable Sir Aga Khan IV, and the rest of 20% was spent by United States, Norwegian, and French governments. It is among the UNESCO World Heritage Sites and very well preserved. Stairs are built pretty narrow so that in case of any attack, intruders are forced to enter in a single file. Here are some bows and arrows on display in the entrance hall. There is a lot of timber used in the main structure in the walls to give the whole structure stability, especially to protect against earthquakes. This gentleman, Sajjad Ali, is giving us the guided tour of the fort. First level of the building, which is not directly accessible from outside, was used as a cellar to store grain which was collected as tax. Here's a food storage bin. Those are the buckets which were used to measure grain for tax collection. These are the dungeons down below, and the prisoners were quite literally thrown into them from up here. Next is this watchtower, and from these little windows, the guards used to keep an eye out. This here was used as wedding gown imported from China during 19th century. And here are some traditional clothes and gowns from the past. There are a couple of world maps, one from 13th century in Latin language, other in French language from 16th century. Then there is a map in English language from 19th century. This used to be the floor safe of the time to keep the jewels under lock and key. This is a sort of sitting room where the guests were entertained and the assemblies convened. Now we are entering the royal kitchen of the fort. The metal pots were introduced from China during 19th century. Before that, it was wooden and stone crockery only, as displayed in here. Here is an assortment of wooden spoons, a goatskin bag, and these are the pumpkin shells to keep the drinking water in. And these are the stones to mill the wheat into flour. And now we are headed to the roof. Here are a couple of polo sticks from the past. पत्थरों के साथ these are ibex and markhor horns on display. Here is the royal throne, and when the weather permitted, the king held his court here on the rooftop. And the snow-capped mountain in the background is called Altarsar. This is the reception hall on the top floor of the fort. This here is a wooden dome to lit the room. The flag of Hunza state, the crescent and moon represents Islam, and the bow and arrow, courage. Here are royal garbs of king and queen on display. And these are commemorative portraits of Honorable Agha Khan the First to the Fourth. The restoration of this fort is mainly at the credit of Shah Karim al Hussaini, the Honorable Aga Khan IV. His foundation's work in health and especially education and consequently in human development has been monumental in this region. These are the portraits of the members of the royal family going back a couple of centuries. The Hunza state was annexed to Pakistan in the year 1974. This is the present day royal couple of the Hunza royal family, Mir and Rani, and their son. A few swords and a shield and a dagger from the past are on display here. This is Marco Polo's sheep found in this region, and in local bush skill language it is called rush. This wooden ceiling was brought from Kashmir in 1911. This piece of cloth, titled as Masnad Amar, roughly translates to seat of leadership or headship, was to be placed on the throne for the king to sit on. Here is a telephone set from 1930s when it was first introduced in this region. Some more portraits of the royal family. This room is called the sun room. This balcony was installed during the time of the British Empire in India. And here is the view of the Karimabad valley down below. There is the Hunza river, and across Hunza river lays the beautiful Nagar valley. Well, it's noon and the clock has just struck 12. 12 बज गए. And now we are arriving at the royal chambers. There is a hearth in the middle and the sitting area around it. And here is a cradle. A couple of manuscripts of the Holy Quran from 18th and 17th century are on display here. And the rosary beads. On either side by the wall, there is a slightly elevated and partitioned sleeping area. Here are some musical instruments, and similar ones are still in use. These are the currency notes from 1930s China that were used here. This is a 200 years old camel wool carpet from China. And these are the 17th century hunting rifles from Russia. And this is the indoor throne room where the court was held during severe weather. This was a brief walk around for you. If you ever find yourself in Hunza, do take a tour of the forts. There is a lot of history there. It takes you centuries back in time, and it's very cozy inside. Hunza is beautiful year round, but if you visit in autumn, you are in for a spectacle that would leave an impression for a lifetime. Goodbye from Hunza till the next chapter, and wish you a cozy fall season.